Every so often, there is an eve of a new era, and now you are at it. We are going to go ahead and take a look at the brand new patch for June 11th for Borderlands 3, some gaming news. On top of that, we're going to be looking at the new Guardians patch that I have right above. So, if you are new to the network, sit tight, this is going to be a fun one. My name is Mac here at the McEver7 channel, and let's get to some gaming news for Borderlands today. With the start of this new event, this is going to be the end of the cartel, so hopefully you got your kicks out of that. It was a really fun DLC. I would love to hear what the community has to say. If they like that, or are they excited about the new one, drop a comment down below. Your boy Mac would like to know. As you can see, this brand new patch will come with a 1.12. You go ahead and start situationally point of like 1 gigabyte, so not too bad. They're going to be taking away some stuff, but they're going to be adding a lot of fun stuff too. Thought I'd point that out. First off, let's go ahead and take a look at what the challenge is. There's going to be really fun situations for the Tardian portion of the breach, as you can start to get down to the portion of people hopping through portals, new guns, new challenges, new layout outs. It's going to be a total situation that's going to come down to a lot of stuff that you can enter inside of here. So get excited, everyone, as we come down to the situation. The takedown and situational points will be near the, what they said is the black site near the Malawan, so you can kind of go towards that conquest for any more bosses and the situations for the Guardians breach, as well as there's going to be a lot of newer stuff. Now I'll be joining the roster as we look at this hotfix for as far as the situation. So 9 AM, it should already been pushed through. I already got the update. It's been copying right now the situation. So one of the bigger portions is the fight for your life, the FFYL improvements. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at that. As you can see, the situation, the cooperative reviving, which was always an issue where the one person had many people who had had it, and myself, and the slowed moment for the speed down for the players when the activating the cooperative player. So it seems like a lot of co-op is going to get a lot better. So hopefully I like to hear a lot of comments of positivity. The interactive in the radius and around that down play for as far as the easy and the reviving them, on top of the FX download and the players being revived and the players reviving the down players and helping the visualization inside there. Add support for the mayhem levels on the card indexes. Now 1.12 came with a lot of stability fixes that addresses the concerns as the following. Some players experiencing the crashes after maybe kicking 3 times in a row in the host, so that was a situation that they came down to it, and the angels and the speed and the demons inside of the hold situation for the respawn has been adjusted. On top of sometimes the engaging enemies in the welding invitation would the galaxy brain mayhem modifier activation, on top of the situation where the host entered the combat at the beginning in the 4th round to the slaughter, and they addresses the server crashes, the several server crashes that do occur, but they are really good about optimization, which is our next keynote to take a little quick utilization and a look at. Now I think personally myself, the navigation and the vending machine pretty cool. The UI inside of the console, awesome. The inventory performance, super awesome. The improvement list that goes down from the main menu, the quick menu, the inspection performance, the buddy wedge, the tutorial memory removal, and the unnecessary portions of the trees, they really kind of diced it up. But oh, there's more optimization as we go down the list and we see the dragging and the drop of the items in the inventory menu, and addressing the concerns in the players that sometimes would express the situation in the frame drops, the navigating portions through the characters in the split screen, and the addresses and portions of the echo log during the demons in the dark on the situation. That mission seems like it was very well overhauled inside of this. Improved HUD and performance. Now let's dive to the general. And no, you don't have to call them to save some time because you're here. The address concerns in the situation inside of the camera was sometimes tilt to the sideways and a fire rate in a situation. The disabling portion of the controller and the input in the windows and the focus, and the displays of the quick menus for as far as the players and the vehicles and the turrets. As we scroll down and see the report and the concerns and the outrun sometimes being launched inside of the air in the play space that entered the vehicle. That sounds like a chaos, but that sounds like it would be a funny highlight for someone on YouTube. And the address concerns for the bodies and the dead enemies that would be sometimes again at the hold, and this addressed a lot of issues when we seen inside of this patch, and the host players where they escape in the crouching doorway and the clients when they were leaving sanctuary. On top of the hit out of boundaries inside the vehicles where it triggered the FFLY, which was a big portion for the fight for your life, in which the adjustments came into in the vending machine that delivers inside of the situation instead of other things. Past the fight for your life in the situation where the ammo vending machine and the portions of what the player inserts into the vending machine in its level, the concerns of the pinstripe inside of there sometimes missing from some of the players' skins. On top of the report concerns of the anointed, the 300% damage above the 90% didn't work properly in the non-flesh enemy types. Inside the concerns for as far as the Guardians perks, where they would be only active during the sessions you unlock, inside of the address concerns in the elemental puddle, inside of the decal that would sometimes remain for the client reloading while the puddles were presented. Update clients inside of the credits, on top of the portions where the hotfix inside of the game, the reporting concerns in the hidden bar of what appeared to space out inside of the stretch and across the bottom of the screen on top of the tree. So a lot of the tree was actually overhauled, which I thought was pretty cool in the situation for as far as what they gave us and what they were actually able to performantly deliver. On top of the concerns where the play button in the Echo podcast would not directly work for its displaycation, it is now. So let's go ahead and look at Borderlands Science as we hit a good look. As you can see, Borderlands Science adds a 10-second cooldown for the timer until the players can request a skip in the current puzzle, and situationally points in a new Borderlands Science. Interestingly, reports the concerns where the boosters could not be removed when inside the situation and joining. Now let's go ahead and jump down to the character, which isn't much, to be honest. You have the operative actions inside of there, the anointed effects, and the skills. So the Echo Cast being the more improved portions of the discovery inside of the Moxie Tails, inside of the chest, inside the situation in-game, and the Echo Cast and the Moxie Tails buffs for as far as losing in the other person in the joining of that session. Or as far as what we scroll down inside of there, the rare chest and the winners inside the incorrection, now it should be the correction, and you can see the FX inside of the address report concerns in the flicker and sanctuary after the extended gameplay. This will be directly inside of here for as far as the forecast for the special episode featuring the Mayhem 2.0 dev fix. So those are going to be really cool. So that would have came out yesterday, pushing forward today, these things should be fixed. As Mayhem mode becomes one of the more focal points to look at inside this patch, we can see that the enemies inside of the health portion, the shield, and the armor in Mayhem 7, 8, 9, and 10, which were very much needed. Those were one of the bigger issues that I always heard with my friends and the community that was out there. For as far as that, they have the stats bonus to the heal, shield, and the armors. The Mayhem 10 will allow you to now get a 10,000% instead of a 12.5k. The curve for 7 to 10 now is adjusted accordingly inside of there for as far as the change in the host players. They can roll into the added modifiers for as far as the Mayhem, and you can sit there for as far as the concerns, and the antagonizer 9,000 over that in the situation of the Kraken. You have Vegeta yelling Nappa at the very end of that sentence for sometimes the spawn of the Mayhem level inside of that gear would come into play. As we come down there, and we can see that for as far as the 2.0 dev look as the situation will be popped up, and all these things again will be linked. You can have the modifier inside of there for no longer for a roll together. You have the floor of lava and the fireflies and the frequent portions of the take no longer count in the players for as far as that. You also have the Chin Gang for as far as the create beams inside of the players for the close dispatch, and the fire frequency and the optimization. All those fun things will be addressed, as well as the situation that sometimes will be loading and the correcting inside of the grenades that change inside the Mayhem mode. On top of that, you have the timers that sometimes would come down to a nice little thing for the U station that now have a nice portion of the fast travel, as well as you're looking at the reports and the indicators in the Mayhem mode, which they seems like they just fixed a lot of the Mayhem modes, from down to the UIs down to the death post, for as far as where you have the auto bear players and the iron bear in the seats. You have the address points at the death post, also where the modifier Mayhems in the circle spawn inside of the players in the takedown. You also have a situation where the visual effects and the spawns weren't really working in the projectiles inside of there, the freeze tag. You have the spawns for as far as not being able to relate to the portion of the enemies inside of those and the reactivate. You also had concerns for as far as the fight for your life. So again, a lot of this stuff is seeming like it's like a redundant portion, but it was like more than likely what they did was this right here is probably the portion that they patched on their server, and it synced up some of the issues that people were probably like, hey, it's broken, because this is, I'm just gonna leave this here. You guys and gals, we'll save some time here because it's looking exactly the same as we kind of just scroll down and take a look down from the UI pads, which definitely seemed like that one definitely got a really cool makeover for as far as the report concerns for D-pad graphs, HUDs, and down below. And all this will be listed on down there, but the bigger portion was probably more than likely the patch portion of 1.112. So everyone, hot fixes for as far as what we can see that pushed through. We're going to go ahead and scroll down to that and get down to the very tail end of this patch. As we see the added portions of the cartel inside of the drop and inside of there, let's go ahead and pull the screen a little bit closer. And you can kind of see what's going down for as far as what the spike portions inside of there, for as far as the barriers, the rebalancing number in the enemies inside of the during takedowns and the guardian breaches, as well as the enemy takedowns in general. The portion progression blockers and the fast travel during the takedowns, as well as the SNTNL not targeting in the situation for enemies. Can it now hopefully be getting inside that situation? Now, as expressed before with the mayhem mode, the adjustments now will be accordingly followed, as you have the weapon damage on the beach, and then you also have the handsome jack and the situation on the hammers, the devoted, the cloud, the tsunami, the 10-gallon, and the ripper. So when you are visiting all these situations, again, the Vanquisher also will be having an increased portions. There will be a new balance to a lot of the weapons that you have. Now, as far as the weapon nerfing and the Seahawking, as you can kind of see that outperforming sometimes will be there, you know they're a really great community that listens to their community. So definitely don't get too frustrated. Let it sit down below and see what's going down as we progress forward. As we see the increased slots portions from 2 to 3, as we increase the firing weapons inside of the SDU on the Revenge of the Cartel and the players inside of the situations. The remover of the projectile and the performance cost inside of there was too high. We removed the 2 particle systems for each shot and also removed the damage output. So definitely be accordingly okay with that for as far as the accuracy and the spread to make the difference for the projectile portions inside of the pattern that covers inside of space. The lower times as far as the projectiles, too many particle portions of what was going down inside of the lower spectile sums, and down to the increased speeds for as far as what you can keep inside of the weapons in the combat as the life load time would go down there. Now let's get to the special yellow cake. I love yellow cake, it's delicious, but usually they're referring to a whole different thing. It's a wordplay. But looking as our wordplay goes down to the wrong scaling on the math applying to the yellow cake inside of the situation, the increased damage, and the extended value of that. So they've changed their mathematitude. Yes, I said mathematitude. And the situation, by the way, I'm coining that. All this stuff is always copyrighted when I upload it anyways. I don't think anyone's ever used that word. Mac just did that. Anyways, moving on, before I have a Mactionary. Oh! Anyways, splitting the projectiles and the damage decrease. We are lowering the damages of each split screen inside of the situation, inside of a portion of the outperforming inside of there. The Chaos Zone in the situation provides a nice according list of what's going down from the detailed pinpoint damages, from the furthering access points of the accuracy increased. You have the critical damage, the base damages, and the anointed buffs that are coming up. There's tons and tons of anointed buffs as I dive into the dang screen, as we are too. As we come down to the situation inside of there for as far as what's going down, the slide frame point in the situation, the action ends inside of the anointment for as far as what they have for more useful builds in the fire rates. The next 2 mag bonus damage and the splash damage will be received inside of the increased damage. Auto bear active inside of the damage will be portions and relieved inside of there as we come down to the very end of the patch note. Thank you everyone for staying tuned. Stay classy. I'll see you guys and gals in the near future. If you're new to the network, you can always subscribe. Absolutely free. Helps me out as a creator, and I'll see you guys and gals in the near future, and I will try to keep my eyes peeled for some really freaking cool golden keys if I can find them through Randy or through the other network, and I'll see you guys and gals in the near future. Later everyone.